part 2. I'm going to make this real quick because I do feel like I should have added a few more comments to what we had already discussed. And also Lestat reading what Louis had been saying or bad mouthing him and calling BS on a lot of stuff that Louis may have augmented or probably flubbed the truth a little bit. He's getting offended, and so what originally was like, oh, I want to get back with Louis, although he still sees himself with him, because there's a moment where I think he has a bit of a nervous breakdown on stage, and it seemed like he was gonna go and drain his lead guitarist because of the incessant playing, and he didn't feel like he was doing it right, or it was taking attention away from him. And I feel like his personality is gonna match up with a lot of narcissists that we're seeing on a constant basis, if you know what I'm saying. So he hates when attention is drawn away from him. So as he's making his way, like forgetting himself that he's on stage and he's not supposed to actually technically feed in front of everyone, his fangs kind of peer out, and he has a moment where, like, all of a sudden, like, this floodgate of like memories start pouring in, and we see Lestat as a child, and I believe maybe perhaps how he was made, his maker, his relationship, odd relationship with his mother. It falls to the ground, and it's debilitating to the point where he says it felt like he was like in a chokehold, or like a jungle snake had like just taken his breath away, with the floodgates that whatever he triggered or whatever was happening to him on stage. But somehow it's almost like he had an epiphany and found perhaps a second wind, and perhaps a way of bypassing his lead guitarist hamming it up for the attention, and somehow they were able to make magic. He's in such a euphoria, which is, funny, I mentioned euphoria in the first video. And he's so elated that he picks a girl from the crowd, but he goes a little too bonkers and drains her by mistake. But she had taken all these pills, LSD, a bunch of other things, I don't know. And he's super high. She has an out of body experience because he drained her to the point of death, I think. I don't know how they are able to revive her, because Daniel now is a vampire, which, by the way, Daniel is kicking butt. The few things that I've already seen with this version's Daniel, of him being a full-blown vampire, he's creepy, menacing, and still sarcastic. He's still that, like, crotchety old man with, like, that sarcasm, but with a whole lot of power. And I'm here for it, And so he's on his tour bus, and he's interviewing him, and kind of like perhaps trying to see how Lestat's version of the past compares to Louis. Louis now has, like, I think for the moment has disappeared, just because Lestat's not talking to him, I don't think. Lestat's texting somebody throughout the whole process of him being interviewed with Daniel and with a camera, because it's like a docu series that maybe they're filming so that he can give his version. And even in his nervous breakdown, he is able to still see Louis, because Louis played a major part in his life. But we also saw instances of his maker, perhaps even Akasha. I'm not entirely sure yet. There's like certain glimpses that we're getting. And turns out the person he had been texting had been Gabriela, his mother. I'm telling you, it's giving me a lot of sleepwalkers vibes. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out throughout the season. But he gets bombarded by that Fang gang or whatever. But they're no match because he has Akasha's blood in his system, so makes him invincible. And even though he's drunk, which by the way, I will say I give it to all these like series that we grow attached to, even like True Blood with Sookie Stackhouse. We always get these new nuggets of things that we didn't know before. Even down to the fact that, yes, Lestat has a scar. And we never saw that scar in the first two seasons. And he makes reference to that, like, oh, no mention of my scar. And my hair was exaggerated and whatnot. But he contributes to now whatever folklore that we have of vampire history, that they can go to the bathroom. Not as often as humans, but they can urinate. And it looked like an orangey kind of thing, and to not leave traces of it, they kind of down it with alcohol. Something like that. That was interesting. And so they basically ambush him, and on his way to the press room or whatever, and of course after he revives his victim, they have sex. They have like a whole like trio, four-way with a bellhop in the elevator, and he's still intoxicated. He gets off on that floor accidentally, I believe, and then he's confronted with the Fang gang. And the one human being that he does keep around for his needs, who I believe she's human, and somehow she starts like, he's like, oh, you want to turn away, you don't want to see this. And so he puts her like in a corner, and she's like, I'm here to push forward my career. It was the funniest little monologue she had going on. I was like, yeah, we get it, girl. And then all of a sudden he goes total crazy on the Fang gang, and because again, proving that he has much more, I believe he's more powerful than these other lame vampires. And then as it almost seems like they had gotten him, and it's almost like they were like devotees of Armand, like a cult like status. Sound familiar? Wink wink, nudge nudge. He's not ambushed. Daniel comes to the rescue with this vampire like DJ, who turns out to be Sam from the Theater of the Vampire, I think, from season 2. And he's the one that kind of gave Armand up, and he sent the details, the actual screenplay. No, I'm sorry, not play. The play, the actual script of the play, where Armand, it was known that Armand was in on how they were going to, unfortunately, kill off Claudia. And he had spent 77 years of a marriage with Louis hiding the fact that he knew and actually directed how that was going to play out for her. So we see Sam again. I love him too, by the way. I love his Irish accent. I was like, this is just so... I'm just eating this series up because it's just... I feel like it is living up to the long-awaited fan base that Anne Rice was able to... I feel like this is actually like her vision coming true. I feel the movie's no shade. I love Tom Cruise. I love Brad Pitt and Kirsten Dunst when they did the movie. I love that movie. I love the movie so much. The curl pattern and Claudia's character's hair. Loved it. The drama of that film. But this... I feel like this has far exceeded that, like it has passed that bar. Anyway, not to sell you anymore on the show, please watch it. It is such a good watch, and I can't wait till episode 2 that should drop next Sunday. And yeah, I'm just loving it. Also, yeah, so they help him out, but there are instances that I feel like we're also watching of our contemporary issues play out in the show as well. Lululemon, hint hint. Anyway,